Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week. I believe everyone is fairly well acclimated to the system, so to speak. What I mean by that is what is due each week, chapter learning objective questions, and then within the lecture, you will find an additional assignment. Some weeks, there isn't an additional assignment. The only assignment you'll have is your chapter learning objective question, which again is due each week. But after these weeks, I see that everyone is getting very well acclimated. I've noticed students who would send questions. I was able to respond in a orderly, quick response time. And I think students who need questions answered, I think those questions have been answered again. If you have further questions, which inevitably you will, it is normal, it is expected. I welcome any question. Doesn't matter if it's a text, an email, phone call. I'm always glad to help, to assist, and always will be here. That said, let's go back and review. We talked about this is a business course. You are business majors. And the first thing we needed to discuss, going back to the intro lecture, is, well, what is business? And business consists of a foundation. And within that foundation, we have three parts, hence the three-legged stool foundation of business. You have the finance part, operations part, and the behavior management part, also known as organizational development. And as you can see from the second arrow, the outcome for the business to have a formidable, a strong, a sturdy foundation will produce sustainable employee engagement, sustainable customer loyalty, and sustainable profitability. We also talked during the last lecture the DIE process. I want to go over that again because as you'll become more and more familiar with the DIE process, this will be a tool that you will use to apply what you're learning. And in this case, business communication, business writing. And DIIE again stands for diagnose, intervene, implement, and evaluate. And diagnose, we find the core problem. We also know the problem usually isn't the problem. So we need to find problems hidden in plain sight. And I've showed this video to demonstrate diagnosis.
This is a
Let's
test
watch
of
it again.
selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball. How many passes did you count? The correct answer is 15 passes. But did you see the gorilla? This video is from research by Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris and is copyrighted. It is available for use in talks, training, and teaching on DVDs from VisCog Productions. Learn more at theinvisiblegorilla.com.
And remember, diagnosis means we're discovering the problems and what are the core problems. From there, we go into solving those problems, also known as the intervene stage. Then we implement. It's one thing to discover the problem, another thing to come up with a solution. Now we need to launch the solution, and that's the implementation phase. And then the evaluation phase, we need to determine if indeed the solution is working. I'll go over the DIE process thoroughly throughout this course because, again, it will be a tool that you will use to apply what you're learning, to apply the subject matter of business communication, business writing. In so much, and I'll jump ahead just an extra nickel's worth, so to speak, because we'll get into it later, is you're going to focus in and focus on diagnosis for this week's assignment. And I'll talk further about that. You have seen this format. It's crucial that you understand the format, particularly the summary area and the intervention as it relates to citing your solutions. You cite your examples, and that's in the chapter Learning Objective Questions, and that is the most effective way for me to engage that you're applying what you're learning. When it comes to using the DIE process format, this analysis tool to solve problems, to apply what you're learning in business writing, business communication to solve problems, you will cite the solution and then the implementation and the evaluation. The reason I'm going over this again is I want students to understand that there's a format when they're writing this business report, because as we will discuss later, how to make sure you get your key points known is critical to the format of your writing. For instance, when you write a research paper, you will have an introduction, you will have a body, and you will have a conclusion, and then the bibliography. Sadly, students, not just students, but professionals, have a tendency to write the intro, the body, the conclusion, all in one page, one paragraph, and it decreases the clarity for the reader. And what I mean by clarity is it decreases the reader's opportunity to discover the key points. And remember, because you're business majors and you're solving problems, we already know that there's a crisis. Imagine you're at work and you're chosen to solve problems. The reason you're solving problems is because there's already a problem that exists. There's already a crisis. And you need to find out the core issue of that crisis, come up with a solution. And when you present this, whether it be verbally or through the written word, you need to let your audience know the key points immediately, quickly, concisely, confidently. Why? Because everybody knows there's a crisis. They need to get to the core issue and the solutions. All that said, that's why the DIE process has a format to it. You are leading the reader to essential, hence key point information. Business writing, it's the ability or the how of sharing information between people within an organization that is performed for the commercial benefit of the organization. Think about that for a moment. And by the way, the first sentence, if I were to ask you this first sentence on the slide, where in the foundation of business does it belong? you would say behavior management, organizational development, same as behavior management. Why? Because it refers to communication. How sharing of information between people within a company, an enterprise, that is performed for the commercial benefit of the organization. Of course, for the commercial benefit of the organization. The company needs to be profitable. There's no secret, even a nonprofit needs to be profitable. And what I mean by that specifically is you have to be creating, there has to be money left over at the end of the month after all the revenue comes in and all the expenses go out. Because if there is not, the existence of the organization doesn't occur. In other words, it's not a going concern. You accounting majors out there find that word familiar. A going concern means, does the business have the wherewithal to be in existence beyond a short period of time? If the answer is yes, the company is a going concern as it relates to commercial benefit of the organization. In addition, business communication can also refer to how a company shares information to promote its products or services to potential consumers. Point is, we communicate through the written word, we communicate verbally. And in either case, we're sharing information among people in the company for a commercial benefit. And it's also applied to how we share this information to promote our products and services. In other words, we're communicating to our customers. Your last assignment, you put together the core values that I discussed. Core values, and I apologize, I just recognized one core value is missing here. I apologize for that. Did not notice that until right now. But that said, there are 8 core values, also referred to as control points, that you put into the Communication Control Points SOP template. It was a copy-paste assignment, no doubt, but I also know you started familiarity of these core values. Not only what the core values are, but the definition of the core value. And the question goes to, well, why do we use these communication core values? Because the outcome, what we're seeking to do, is effective communication. This effective communication goes back to what we're trying to do when we communicate with each other in an organization for commercial benefit, and how we communicate to our customers when we're promoting products and services. It goes back to, effective communication. The reason we use the 8 core values is because we desire to communicate effectively. On page 71 in your text, you studied the importance of adaptation. And I want to highlight the areas of adaptation. And here they are. The importance of adapting, the importance of adaptation is choosing the right words, essential for clear communication. We choose the right words because we need effective communication, clear communication, because we never want the method of our communication to overshadow the message. Let me say that again. We do not want the method of our communication to overshadow the overshadow the message of our communication. Let me give you an example. When my son was a teenager, he and is still very mechanically inclined. And he asked if he could do some work on our car. And I said yes. Now, he's 16 at the time. And, well, he bit off more than he could chew, so to speak. And what that means is he wasn't as qualified to work on the car as he thought. Yes, I said, go ahead and do it. But by the time we got the car running again, it was $354 later at the mechanic. And, well, I was frustrated. And I use another colloquialism. I gave him the long finger. You know, when somebody is pointing at you with the index finger and they're sternly shaking it in front of you, that's referred to as I'm giving the long finger. And as I am harshly telling my son how frustrated I am, he stopped me midway through and said, Dad, I need to ask you a question. I said, yes. He said, your core values are patience, peace, understanding, truth, and tolerance. I said, yes, they are. And he said, well, now this is starting to hurt. And he stopped me in my tracks. I grabbed him by the neck, pulled him close to me. I gave him a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and I apologized. Because I'm allowed to feel frustrated, but he's not allowed to go under the bus. Another colloquialism for being treated unfairly, treated disrespectfully. And what he was seeing was my method of communication, the long finger communication. I'm frustrated and you're going to be the brunt of my frustration, even though you did not do anything maliciously, you did not do anything intentionally. That's where I use the term, he was thrown under the bus, and he should not have been. He was seeing my method. I should have communicated where he saw and heard my message. And that's the point of choosing the right words for essential and clear communication. The importance of adaptation is understanding you're choosing the right words. We need to construct clear sentences in clear paragraphs. One of the common mistakes I see students do when they're first learning the chapter learning objective questions format, there's a format to complete each week's assignment. And then as they become used to the DIE process, that format, students have a tendency to write in a block of words. In other words, there's no paragraphs. And when a student writes in a block of words, it confuses the reader in this way. There's so much information, key points are convoluted, key points do not stand out. There's no transition from one topic to another. And keep in mind, when we're reading business reports, we're looking for key points. When we're reading research papers, we're looking for key points. When we're trying to address an issue that needs correcting, we're looking for key points. That's why clear sentences and clear paragraphs are essential to leading the reader to the key points, key topics. And we also need to write to your readers. Who are you writing this to? I've mentioned to students before, when you are writing the DIE process report, when you're writing your chapter learning objective questions, do not write them to me. I already know the answers. And by the way, though I know the answers, I get tremendous joy by reading your assignments because there are pieces of information that I simply did not see. Doesn't matter, I've been teaching the class for many years. Use this tool in the field for my consulting business. When students write and I read, I always pick up something I wasn't aware of, even though I've been through the material many times. The reason I tell students that is you're not writing to me. You're writing to somebody who is not aware of the subject matter. Hence the third bullet point here, writing to your readers. You need to understand your reader. How does your reader accept information? When I teach military personnel, as an example, I have to be well versed in what I refer to as the 3 C's. I need to be very clear, I need to be very concise, and I need to be very confident. I'll give another example of using the 3 C's. In an accounting class that I teach to military personnel, particularly the Marines in the class, if I do not bring my A game, my best work, and they see or feel or perceive that I was not doing my best, or what I refer to as winging it, they will call me out. They do it in a respectful way, but they do call me out. So I'm so aware of my audience that I make sure that my work is polished, because that communicates to them effective communication. And less is more. Keep it simple. Page 71 talks about whether we're communicating to people who do not understand the topic, and we keep it simple so they can understand. And that's not said in a derogatory way in any way, shape, or form. When we're communicating to people who are more knowledgeable in the subject matter, we still keep it simple because we want our key points to be focused on. And when you review again page 71, the importance of adaptation, it says it whether it be an audience that isn't as knowledgeable or an audience that is very knowledgeable, keep it simple. That's why this bullet point says less is more. Keep it simple. Students will often ask when they write a research paper or the DIE process or chapter learning objective questions, is a very familiar question comes to me, which is based on how we've conditioned students. They will ask, how long does it need to be? And I've been teaching collegiately for 13, 14 years. And every time I've said, which does, I don't know if it shocks the students, but they are many times unaware, I will say length is not the issue, but I do need substance. Because we know, as I've shared in all my classes, and I'm not going too far off the limb here by saying I am certain you've done this as well, because I have, is we were writing a research paper, it needs to be 20 pages, and we cannot get any more than 15 or 16 pages. So we pull in the margins, we increase the font, we triple space, we're going to get those 20 pages no matter what. The goal is not the length, the goal is the substance. That's why this bullet point, fourth bullet point, reads, less is more. Keep it simple. Why? Because you need to get the reader to the key points. Hence, key points stand out. Choose the right words to increase clear communication. make sure your sentences are clear and your paragraphs are clear so the reader can transition from one topic to another. Understand who your readers are so you can write to them. Keep it simple, and less is more. In other words, your message has to be louder than your method. When the first 4 bullet points are executed, key points will pop off the page. And why is that essential? Because we're in a crisis mode when we're solving problems. We want to get the reader, which typically is the decision maker, to the key points, vital information, so they can make the best possible choice in an accurate, timely, and consistent way. So let's look at the assignment I'd like you to do. Again, the assignments are always due, I think it's Tuesday. I apologize, I'm having a brain freeze. Assignments are typically due at the same time, and I'm going on memory here. Tuesday at midnight, if I remember correctly. If I am incorrect, always go with the due date that corresponds with the assignment. But that said, let's look at the importance of adaptation assignment. We're going to review a case study. It takes about 4 minutes, and it's from Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay is a renowned, known, famous Michelin 3-star chef who has a program called Hell's Kitchen. He has a number of restaurants in Europe, in the United States. He consults in industry on how to build a strong foundation for your business, particularly the food and beverage industry. We're going to watch a 4-minute video case study of Gordon Ramsay as the consultant. And you're going to be critiquing the consultant. You're going to be critiquing Gordon Ramsay. When you're critiquing Gordon Ramsay, you need to determine which communication core values did he violate. Remember, there are 8 core values. One approach I take is when I'm evaluating a case study, when I'm analyzing a case study, and I need to discover which control points are in violation, whether they be control points in accounting, in finance, whether they be control points in operations, whether they be control points in behavior management. I typically have my template with the core values, and I will make notes on that template. However you choose to do, take notes, that's what you're looking for. You're trying to determine which core values, communication core values, Gordon Ramsay violated. Then determine how you will communicate in writing to Gordon Ramsay to explain the core values, communication core values that were violated. Remember, this is the diagnosis in the DIE process. You're only going to complete the diagnosis in the DIE process. Let me say that again. You're only going to complete the diagnosis in the DIE process. You will not intervene, you will not implement, and you will not evaluate. Use the diagnosis format to write your document to Gordon Ramsay. And remember to use the aspects of importance of adaptation. What is one aspect of the importance of adaptation? Is understanding who your reader is. And in this case, you know who your reader is. Your reader is Gordon Ramsay. You also know what the communication control points are. When we finish watching the case study, you will see some of the violations, hence the diagnosis, and you will use the diagnosis format to write to Gordon Ramsay. Remember, you're going to be clear in your sentences and your paragraphs. You're going to understand who your reader is, which is Gordon Ramsay, and you're going to highlight key points. What are the key points? The key points would be the communication core values that were violated by Gordon Ramsay. So now that you know the aspects of the importance of adaptation, you now can complete the diagnosis. Remember, only the diagnosis you're completing for this assignment. Let's take a look at the 4-minute case study.
Having discovered the terrible conditions in the kitchen, Gordon now ventures down to the basement of the restaurant to check out what's lurking below.
What's that smell? What? What is that? Is that for rats or mice?
Food for the catch a rat.
So we have got rats here.
Rat is all over the place.
It's rat droppings. Look at them all, everywhere.
Rats.
Rats. Oh my good God. Look at the cockroaches. Oh my God, look. I got one in my fucking hair. It's cockroaches. Boxes full of them. Look. Look at them all. Oh my God, look. There they are there. In refrigeration. Oh, fucking hell. Oh my God. Oh no. Look at that! Oh my God. Look at them. There you go. There you go.
I was shocked. It's like a nightmare.
Look, Mohammed. I mean, it's not even a pepper. It's rotten. I'm worried about the flies in the dining room. I know where they're fucking breeding now. Look at it. I've eaten here. Come on. Martin.
We will miss you. Hopefully see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, I need Martin urgently. He's the general manager, yes? Yeah, good.
You're needed right now. I'm needed right now? Yes, needed in the kitchen urgently.
Are you in charge of this? Are you responsible for this? That is the salad I had. Lunchtime. I opened the bag and bang, out comes the flies. Gentlemen, it gets worse than that. It's green. It's beyond edible. It's disgusting. Look at the color of those chicken wings.
Everything in there was putrid.
How long has that been in there? Give me an answer, because I'm shitting myself.
Yes, there's a head chef responsible for this, trying to
This will
rectify it.
kill somebody.
We're not passing the buck, but
I know my general manager knows what the fuck's going on in my fridges. Where are your standards?
our standards
Look
were...
at it. Let me just tell you something.
Yes.
I've eaten here. Where's that from? That's been sliced. That's gone out. What is that? Where's it? Hey, madam, where's that tomato gone? Look, it's fucking rotten, you fucking idiot. It's rotten. Has a customer just been served a slice of tomato? No. So where is it?
Oh my God.
Things are looking pretty glum.
Look. It's rotten, Mohammed. Tell him in your language he'll kill somebody. What do we need, a death in the restaurant before some fucker gets a grip? How many tables are out there?
There's 3.
3. You tell those 3 tables, this is the luckiest day of their fucking life, okay?
The only thing worse than having tables sent away is knowing that what I was going to serve them could make them sick.
No one is getting served from this fucking restaurant tonight. Let's make that clear. Yes or no? Anyone against that?
No.
No. Good.
That didn't go down too well. He was extremely angry, extremely pissed off.
We are not ever again serving any of this food. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Can you go and tell them that the kitchen is closed?
And remember, your goal is to use the points highlighted from the importance of adaptation and to understand who your audience is. In this case, it's Gordon Ramsay. Determine which communication core values were violated and how you will communicate that in writing to Gordon Ramsay using diagnosis in the DIE process. This will be due same time as your additional assignments are due. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. You can reach out to me at any time. Have a wonderful week.